So as you come into standing, the trunk is the topic tonight. Walk around a little bit and just shake off. I had you all sitting down. So shake that off. And hi, Roberta. You popped in also. And so come to just a relaxed stance. Because if we come right into a Tadasana, we can't always really gauge what's going on. But I would like you to just notice, is there a habit of maybe standing with more weight on one foot than the other? Or are you shifting over a little bit? And also, does one knee lock out? And that seems like a peculiar thing to ask when we are talking trunk business tonight. But with scoliosis in particular, that can create a turn of the torso. And one way that we can see that is that one knee will lock and the other one will be slightly bent. So also look down at your trunk and just notice, does one hip sit forward of the other? And this can be really hard to see, and we can be so accustomed to what we look like and how it feels to our body that we really don't notice it. Most everybody has a spinal rotation, and it can be low, high. So just gauging, am I rotating left or right, if I can see it? And it may be, it was just an all girls class, I will have some boy viewers, but you can look at the front of your body, or one of the girls sitting further forward than the other also shows that may be rotation of the spine. And then the last one, you might not be able to do it right now unless you have a mirror where you are, but it's really good to take a look at yourself in your Eve costume regularly to see, is my nose and my belly button, do they align? Does one shoulder sit higher than the other? Does one hip sit higher than the other? Because that gives us a lot of information about all these rubber bands in the middle. And it starts so slow, but then it can really take off quickly unless we begin to reverse this trajectory. So with this information, come ahead and lay onto your back now. Come onto your back body. And start with your legs straight. And we'll just spend a little bit of time here too, familiarizing ourselves with the landscape of our back body. And in particular, notice, does one of your hips lay heavier? Are you listing to one side? Again, could be caused by the rotation of the spine. Notice where you are on the sacrum for the same reason. Is one shoulder blade laying flatter than the other? Or does it just feel like it's a different part of the shoulder blade that's touching? So maybe one side, the lateral side, is contracted, and the other one is locked long. So we will begin the work. And as always, we start with the breath. So let's bend up the knees, placing the hands on the lower abdomen. And without changing anything, just check in. What's present right now? Sensing, where does the breath move in the body? We can divide the body into quadrants. This is a Feldenkrais investigative technique. We have the two lower quadrants and we have the two upper quadrants. And we can further Talk about quarters on the back body, same, so you can put it into 8 all together. For right now, we'll start with the front one, and especially your lower abdomen. As you breathe in and out, you notice there's a little bit, maybe more sensation, more feedback from one side than the other. Does the breath move into the pelvic floor, or does it stop higher up? And there is Gus. Gus, lay down. His handler must have forgotten about him. And as you breathe in and out, if you're panting, I'm going to have to let you out and let you go back downstairs again. As you breathe in and out, it's not my breath, it's Gus's breath, so he will be leaving here shortly. We're going to begin to just work a little bit with the diaphragm. So take a belly breath in, belly breath in. And let that relax. So we're moving the diaphragm now. Come here, Gus. You're going to be panting and making a lot of ruckus. So in your mind's eye, sensing this big circumferential shape of a muscle, round muscle, separating lower abdomen and upper abdomen. And when you breathe in, it contracts and flattens down. But if we have an imbalance on the lateral sides, it can't flatten evenly. So there might be a little hang up in the gears. As you exhale and relax, the diaphragm swoops back up under the ribs. And it can get stuck up under the ribs like it got sucked up. That's a hiccup. That's your diaphragm that's spasming. And so take a breath in and a breath out. And at the end of the out breath, do another out breath. Can you empty a little bit more? And then just take a normal breath in and out. And we'll do that again. Belly breath in and exhale, comfortable out breath. And then repeat the out breath. The first time a teacher asked me to do this in class, I was quite surprised at how much was still in there. So we don't ever empty completely, and that's a good thing. But there is more than we often think there is. Let's do that one more time. So right now, somatic movement for freeing the diaphragm. Now we're going to do something very similar, but quite different. We're going to take a breath in again. And just a normal, comfortable out breath. And then you're going to take a fake in breath, meaning you're going to close your mouth. You're actually not going to draw breath in, but you're going to expand the rib cage as if you were. And then here's your second out breath. Take a breath in and out. And let's do that again. Inhaling, normal. Exhaling, completely. Take a fake in breath. And then release. So you feel that sucking in. It's the Scarlett O'Hara breath, where the whole rib cage expands. One last time. Normal breath in and comfortable out breath. And then expansion of the rib cage with the fake in breath. And then the second out breath. So that fake in breath, it creates a vacuum that can help release tissue, that's fascia that's gotten all glued together. And now just let your arms relax, and we're going to move into our arch and flatten without further fuss. So inhale, let's arch the low back, contracting. And exhale, we float right back to neutral. And a breath in for nothing. So normal breath in, and now exhale, flattening. Hollow out the belly. So we are again taking the diaphragm up. And we let go. Let's take a buffer breath. And when you're ready, we'll repeat the whole sequence. Inhaling, arch. Low back contracts. And exhale, floating back to neutral. Pay attention to if you're traveling straight down the sacrum, or if you're veering off to one side. We'll take our in-breath for nothing, and then exhale, contract the lower abdomen and flatten. Hollow out the belly. Then slowly release. Buffer breath, luxurious buffer breath. And one more time. Arch. And neutral. Luxurious in-breath, but for nothing, no movement. And then exhale. Now contract and flatten. And let go. Buffer breath. Now breathing in and out, and just notice, has the sensation of the breath in your lower abdomen changed? Let your sacrum, or let your hips just rock a little bit to the right. Release to center, rock to the left. And release to center. So a little listing from side to side. Inhale and go to the side. And exhale, return back to neutral. Notice if one side is easier. Like you're going downhill, or kind of going uphill on the other side. So just the different sensations, contracting, rock the hip to the side. So as one hip draws down, the other one will lift up. So the opposite movement of what we just did, going from side to side rather than the length of the body, across body. So that one more time. Right across the midpoint of the sacrum. And then neutral. Slide the arms up and bring them behind the head. So the arch and flat, we know this one well. been a little while since we've done it, but we can't tend to the trunk without adding this one in. So let's start with our arch again, pressing the elbows down gently. And then exhale, flattening, draw the elbows in. We're going to curl up. And then inhale, slowly release the head down. Let's relift the elbows here. And we'll take them down very slowly. I'm going to let you count yourself down for the first one. So our pec major release. Once the elbows are down, full breath in and out. And let's do that again. Inhaling, arch. And exhale, flatten elbows, draws up. And we curl up, contract the front. So ribs towards the hips, hips towards the ribs, and we're going to lengthen all the way back out. Head comes down, but elbows are still magnetized towards one another. And we'll lift the elbows up, and then I'll count them down from 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Off a breath. And again, inhale, arch, back body contract. And then exhale, flatten the back seam, elbows draws in, and we curl up. I can feel the whole front seam shortening. And then slowly lengthening all the way out. Relift the elbows. And again, super slow from 12, 11, 10, 9, drifting down, 8, 7, 6, 5, notice the jumps and jitters, 4, 3, 2, 1, and all the way down. Everything cools. Breathing in and out. Now let's take the right hand to the right knee. Right hand to the right knee, drawing it in towards the chest. So for the diagonal, arch and curl. Inhale, arch first. And exhale, flattening and moving left elbow towards the right knee. So now the obliques have gotten involved. And then slowly come all the way back down. Buffer breath. And inhale and arch. Exhale, flattening, job of the lower abdomen, and then the obliques goes into action to facilitate the rotation along with some rotatoras around the spine. So deep, deep, small muscles, and then huge outer muscles. They have to coordinate it together. Sometimes that works great. Other times we've lost part of the orchestra here. So this gets all players back on board. Let's do it one more time. Inhaling, arch. Exhale, flattening, curling up. Left elbow towards the right knee. And slowly derotate all the way back up. Let's release the right leg down. Just pause before we do the other side. I'm not going to forget. But using these 4 quadrants that we started with, just notice as you breathe in and out. Lower, upper. When the obliques are tight, especially the external obliques around the rib cage, that really impedes the breathing. We are going to go ahead and take care of the other side. So let's hug the left knee in. And when you're ready, inhale, arch. And exhale, flatten and rotate, using the muscles, so not pulling on your head with your hands. We let go. Pause. And when you're ready, inhaling again, arch first. You're not going to go very far, but it's a great little pec minor release for the neck and shoulder. And rotating up. So not a big lift, just enough where I can rotate. Buffer breath. One more time. Arching, flattening, and rotating. Slowly back at center. And release. Let's slide the legs out. Cross. Breathing in and out. Sensing the landscape of your back body. Sensing the breath. What has changed? Interlace the fingers behind the head again. Now press out through the right heel and let go. We're going to stay on the right side. Press out through the right heel again. Take the hip down with you and let it go. One more time. Let that go. Pausing. Feel the breath in your 2 lower quadrants. We're just working a little bit with the psoas. And of course the hip hikers and your internal oblique. So it's a lot of players. Now sliding your right arm elbow back. So you're side bending. And come back to center. Inhaling, sliding back. And we return. Letting your head just be along for the ride. Does it want to twist and look towards the elbow as you come to the side? Do not lift the head, but let it slide in the hands. So this is one of those poses, the reason that we need to be on something that slides and glides very easily. And now next time you go to the side, let's press out through the right heel and the right elbow simultaneously. How does that feel? So the lateral part of the body, we can get really stuck here. we come to this sort of 2D quality of movement, but we are 3D. We want to reestablish that again. Sliding. Do it one more time. Side bending the spine, back at center. Let's take the arms out and pause here again. And just notice. Right side, left side. 2 lower quadrants, 2 upper. What changed? And we'll go ahead and move to the left side. So pressing out through the left heel, just the heel. So just get familiar with this movement first so we are not rushing. Just the heel. Then we can begin to invite the hip down. So that really begins to add a little bit more psoas, hip flexor action. And like I said, your internal obliques, side waist. So the obliques, I'm a big fan of the obliques because they are brilliant. They side bend and then they rotate. I mean, how about that? All right. Let's slide the left elbow back. Heads along for the right. This really helps open the side chest. So your right oblique contracts, pulling the left long. And if the right can't contract, then the left can't move either. Again, letting your head just rock and roll in the palms of your hands. It's the long for the ride. How does it feel? Notice if there's struggle, then allow yourself to back off. Let's begin to add the left leg. So heel presses out. Away from the elbow. No strain. Make this as easy as you can. And we come back to center. We're going to pause. Let's take the arms out. Lower quadrants, upper quadrants. And has the way you breathe changed from when we started? We're going to go ahead and bend up the knees again. And we're going to hook the right leg over the left. Oh, I'm not married. The right leg over the left. And we're going to have the hands behind the head again. If this is uncomfortable, you can skip interlacing the hands behind the head and just have them out to a T position. So begin with the legs. Let them go down to the right side. And contract the left waist, drawing back up again. So we're working again with the internal obliques. Releasing to the side. And we come back up. Then we're going to draw the left elbow back as the knees go down to the side. So the whole side opens simultaneously when we come back to neutral. This one I call the polywalk, because I feel like a little polywalk just polywalking about. So again, hands stay down, head stays down. You're not lifting the head. We don't want to strain the neck. And only go as far as you can without strain. Lengthening in breath down and then contract from armpit to hip to release back up. One more time. And then release and pause again. So with these one-sided is so important and I think really cool, so just to pause and notice what happened in my body from this movement. And we should do the other side. So let's bend up the knees again. This time hooking the left over the right, interlacing the fingers again. And we start by taking the knees down to the left side. Exhale, contract the waist on the right to come back up. And inhale, we lengthen the waist as the knees lower down. Not staying in the stretch. I know it can be tempting. Some people, some exercise physiologists will say that stretch sensation, it is like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It doesn't really tell us anything. So we can't really validate if it's a good stretch. Somatic says don't go into the stretch, stay in the release. We want to change the resting tone on the muscles so that we are not walking around having our muscles contracted, just staying habitually tight. All right, I think we're ready to start polywogging as the knees go down. Right arm slides back. Contract the right side arm up. And inhale. The whole right side elongates. Make it as easy as you can. Don't think about, I gotta make it hard, I gotta exercise. The easier you make it, you're teaching your body that movement is easy, fluid, and available. One more time. Let's unhook and pause. Slide the legs out. What changed? It's time for the side curl. So let's roll on over to the right side or left on that. We can do both. One side, and we'll do our 90-90 bend in the pelvis, the hips, and the knees. Let's break it apart tonight. So we'll start with the lower. I'll take my hand onto my waist because I really want to see those internal obliques are indeed firing up like I think they are. So take a breath in for nothing. And as you exhale, pull the hip up towards the ribs. It's a little instigator for letting the lower leg lift up. And then I release. And everything lands neatly back down again. Let's take a buffer breath. And we'll repeat. In breath for nothing. Contract. The door swings open. And lowering down. So pay attention to not changing the 90-degree angle at their legs. One of the ways that we can get a little in trouble with this one and not get the benefit of releasing the obliques is we try to use the hamstring by pulling the heel towards the tush. One more time, breath in for nothing. And exhale, contract. I don't know how to do the Charleston, but I think this must be involved, the dance Charleston. I should be a little more specific on what I'm saying. Sure, there's a dish called Charleston. All right, upper part. So here, we're using our arm to support ourselves, but if you are curious and it's like, I don't know, my ribs are activated, you can always put your head on a blanket or a couple of pillows, and then you can take a hand to your rib cage. So we'll take your breath in here for nothing as well. And as you exhale, pull your armpit towards your hips. That side bend, we did it on our backs, but now we're moving up against gravity. So it may be a little bit more interesting. Buffer breath in for nothing. And exhale, contract, drawing armpit towards hip. And lowering back down. So notice if you get discomfort or tension in your neck, you may try to do a little bit of pulling with your hand. It's not the muscles doing it. Let's do it one more time when you're ready. On the out breath, contract. And release. And now let's put it all together. Breath in for nothing. And head and heel. Side bend. Slowly release down. Lengthen the whole side out again. We'll do two more. So when you're ready, after breath in for nothing, let the out breath draw you up. And the in breath floating you back down. One more time. Breath in for nothing. And engage. Floating down. And then take your top hand behind the head and begin to roll your top shoulder towards the floor. Slide your right arm, if you're on your right side, out in front of you. So now I'm on the diagonal. I'm going to inhale, a diagonal arch, and then exhale, derotate back to center. Just enough height where I can derotate, and then slowly releasing back out. So now I'm putting my obliques to their rotation aspect. Very little of the side bend. Buffer breath. And then inhale, side arch. Exhale, flatten, derotate. And slowly rolling back out. Buffer breath. Breath in for nothing. And exhale, contract. Feel that contraction of the muscles, creating movement. Motor cortex is involved, check. And now with control, release the contraction. Allow the motor cortex to create a new set point for the muscle. Let's come on to our back. Just pause before we get all jiggy on the other side. We're laying flatter. And where's the breath? And we'll do a spinaroo. Well, I'll do a spinaroo. You can turn any way you want. But I'm keeping an eye on you. We're going to get right onto the other side. 90-90. And what we sometimes do here too is we don't even think about it. We're sort of curving the upper body. So our gaze is actually down towards the legs. So you can check as if you were laying up against a wall. Your sacrum and back of the head would touch the wall. All right, let's check in with the lower obliques. Take a breath in for nothing. And as you exhale, contract and swing your lower leg up. Lengthening back out again. So hiking the hip up. Get a little help for the hip hikers too. We'll take our buffer breath. Breath in for nothing and exhale. Contract, hike the hip up towards the ribs. And slowly release. Buffer breath. One more time when you're ready on the out breath. And then we'll put on our little bonnet. And remember, if this is uncomfortable for your shoulder, you can have your arm out in front. You're not going to lift as high, but you're still just going to let your head follow up. So never create discomfort in the execution. Let's take a breath in for nothing and exhale. Away we go. And slowly releasing down. Notice, is this the easy side or the hard side? Or maybe there's no difference. On the out breath, contract the side ribs, close the gills. Armpit moves towards the hips. And we release out long again. Easy peasy. One more time. Breath in for nothing. And contract. Close the gills. Facilitating the side bend. And lengthening. And we'll put it together. Breath in for nothing. Exhaling. Head and heel. Lengthening back out. The side curl and the diagonal side curl, probably two of the most important ones, I think. But it all depends on our bodies. But these are the ones I see just sort of give up. We can get really good at working the core, the front. We might even do some back bends. But we may not do a whole lot that maintains side bending and twisting. Got one more to go. When you're ready, on the out breath. Contract and release. And then we'll slide the hand behind the skull. Begin to roll the top shoulder towards the floor and take your head arm out in front. You may notice that your passive rotation is different on this side. And we'll start with the arch. And exhale, sort of a side lateral flattening. We're going to derotate up to center. And slowly let that lengthen back out. It doesn't matter how much we work on the front and the back if we ignore the sides. It's like those cinch seams that are in in a lot of things. If we cinch together on the sides, everything is going to be contracted. So we want full length here too. Let's inhale and arch. And exhale, a little side flattening to facilitate us moving into the side. Slowly release. Buffer breath. One more time. Release, release. Passive action. Take a deep buffer breath here. And then with as little effort as possible, we're going to find our way onto our abdomen. Because we work the front, the sides. We haven't done a lot for the back body. Drawing the legs together. Let's take the left arm down alongside and then slide your right hand under your left cheek. So I'm just looking at my right elbow. I made that sound very complicated. It wasn't really meant to be. And as you inhale, lift the head. Just the head. Let your hips be a little buoyant here. And exhale, release, let everything float back down. This is the famous Landau reflex. What babies do when they need to begin, prepare themselves for walking, well, crawling first, obviously. So as you inhale again, as you lift the head, can you feel the hips lifting up too? So it's like a little arch. The erector spinae muscles connect sacrum to head. So you can contract along the whole seam. It goes to show both ends should lift up. Do that one more time. It is just such a cool movement. All right, we're gonna inhale. This time we're gonna press the hips down. We're gonna lift the arm and the head. And lower down, slowly lower down. So now we've recruited more upper back muscles. Big players showed up. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, lift, arm, head, hips are pressing down. You can feel your whole back contracting to facilitate this little event. We can also sometimes forget these back guys. And so then we're going to bring the whole team on board now. So we're going to add to this the opposite leg. So take a breath in, press the hips down, right arm, head, and left leg lifts up. And slowly release down. Everything relaxes. Now, when you're ready, we repeat. Inhaling, press hips down. Then we lift. We lower. Everything pulls. One more time. Inhaling, press the hips down, head, arm, and leg. And let go. Slide the other arm up, press both forearms down, and turn the head. Slide the first arm down. And we are ready. I'm going to spin all about again so I can see what y'all are doing. So we started again just with the head. So as you inhale, lift the head and notice how the hips pop up. The low back contracts, facilitates the head lifting up. Lower. Easy peasy. And when you're ready, repeat. Like a zipper or drawstring. Zip. Sacrum to skull. And then I just let it all lengthen back out. One more. Head and hips, low back contracts, you feel it. Let go. And then, now inhale, press the hips down and head and arm came up. Then elbow. The other arm is just on vacation. And we lower down. When you're ready, again, press the hips down so the glutes get on board here. And lift. Relax the abdomen. So in an extension, if we are tight in the lower abdomen, our back bends are not comfortable. Let's begin to add the legs. When you're ready, on the in-breath, hips down, lifting arm and head, opposite leg, opposite leg. So moving on that diagonal line, When you're ready, on the in-breath, press the hips down. Head, arm, and opposite leg. We lower down. One more. Last one. Now take the arms, both arms are down. Forehead on the floor. So now we're going to center. Arms facing towards the midline. As you inhale, is lift anything you can grab away from the floor. Tug it towards midline. And lower down. Turn the head to one side. We're going to repeat. Inhaling, press the hips down, lift. Everything consolidates to midline. Lower down. One more. And you're ready. Inhale, hips down, palms midline, shoulders down and together. So Shalabhasana. And let go. Let's take the arms back up. Just pause here. Hands maybe under the forehead. You breathe in and out. Feel the breath in the sacrum. Feel the breath in your low back. And then gently push back to child's pose. Pushing back to child's pose. Wide knee, whatever feels good. And then traveling into a seated posture. And we'll prepare to close with a spine that is lifted. Sense of consolidation towards the midline, centered and broad. I invite you to join me as we pray for peace with Om Shanti, 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 heal. Let's take a deep breath in. Om Shanti, 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 Om. Thank you. Namaste.